RDR fam. How's everybody doing? Hope everybody had a great weekend and a great Monday. Let's do a real quick DR recap. I'll say up front today was not my best day. Still made it out okay, but well, we'll talk about it and see what happened. But let's talk about if you look at what we had for the overnight, right? You see the gray box. So that gray box is our new week opening gap, right? So we opened up down here, and the previous close from Friday was up here. So that becomes our gap. And you can see throughout the day or throughout last night and today we played around that gap, and then we finally went back and took it out, or went above it. So we'll talk a bit more about that. So not unexpected, right? So all the stuff going on with the war now in Israel and Palestine, that was expected. I wasn't expecting it to actually recover as fast. Now, if you had like defense stocks and things like that, yeah, you probably would expect that if you were doing like Lockheed and even some Boeing as well, and the other, like I say, the other defense industry stocks. That's probably a good bet. Oil was probably a good bet. But anyway, so wasn't expecting the overall market to go back up today. So let me turn off. So we see the new week opening gap. Let me turn it off so it doesn't look as distracting. Let me shut that off. Okay, cool. All right, and so let's look at what we have. Not going to talk about the overnights because really not much happened there. And if we look at today, all right, let's go down to what we had for the New York session. All right, so interesting day, right? We end up with a false DR day, but let's talk through what we normally would talk through. If you look at our range today, we had a range. We started at let's say 43.20. And then we had the top of the gap was 43, let's say 39, so 19 points. So well within range. And like the day started out, honestly for me, I was like, assuming that we would have our, come on, open up thing. Okay, we go. I was assuming like, so we had this move. I was like, okay, so that makes sense. Came back down and we shot back up. I'm like, no, that doesn't make sense to me because I was expecting us to kind of go this way, right? So I had a little bit of a bias in my head, which is never a good thing for me. But anyway, regardless, and I'll be honest, today I really wasn't feeling that great today as far as the trading side of it goes. Busy weekend, busy day, and I was like, yeah, okay. But and then today was a holiday also. Right? It was Columbus Day, Indigenous Peoples Day, and Canadian Thanksgiving, I think, as well. So I was wondering why the traffic was so light this morning, and I realized that it's a holiday. But so I wasn't expecting much from a market standpoint today, which surprise, surprise, that worked out the opposite way. But anyway, so we closed. We confirmed low right before 11, about 10:50. Right, we had this nice confirmation, and at that point, I'm like, okay, that makes sense. And so I'll tell you what I did. Right, so. We come down, we go back up. Let me make this bigger. Don't do that ahead of time. But anyway, all right, so we confirmed low, all right, check. And then we actually went back up, and then we actually, went back above the DR low. Okay, so, according to the rules, we're going to put our order on for DR, right? Because we didn't go all the way back up yet. We didn't go above IDR, even though they weren't that far apart. If I was really being patient, which I wasn't, 'cause I didn't have a lot of time, I probably would have waited to see what price did. But anyway, so orders on, get picked up, and we get picked up here. We come down a little bit, and then we come back up. Now I had again, I've been using those 5.5. I mean those 2.5 point stop losses. So got back up above here and got stopped out. So very, relatively quickly. So I'm like, okay, I get it. That's fine. All right. So I'm just waiting. All right. So then we actually go above the IDR. So then my next trade is right here on IDR low. So get picked up, right? Price comes down. I see where it hits. If you look at it, it's basically even. right? Equal right here. And so at that point, I was like, I got my money back, right? So I was like, I'm out. So literally, I think I made, I made another 1250 above what I'd lost. So that would cover the commission. So I was good there, and I was like, fine. Like I'm not even going to worry about this anymore, right? So then, again, I wasn't feeling it, and I see price kind of moving this way, and I'm like, well, shoot. The next thing I get to, again, still trying to follow the rules here, guys. Next thing I get to is this .5 fib here, okay, that blue line. All right, so we go above it on this candle. So I put an order in right here on the low, okay, and I did not actually, yes, on the low. Let me go back to my notes here really quick. Sure, I remember. Yeah, okay, yeah, I did get picked up bare. Like I don't know if you could see it. I got picked up right there when it hit that low, and then it just came back up. So I got stopped out again. So, you know, I'm -1 here. Okay, so -1. Then I'm back to even, and now here I'm at -1 again. Okay, so I'm like, fine. It's just not my day to trade, right? So the next thing I see is I'm like, okay, price comes all the way back up here to IDR high. All right. And so when we think about that, right, remember that's one of two things that's happening here. So either that's going to be, we're going to end up being false, right? Or we're going to have a retirement set up for price to come back this way, right? So if we go this way, we'd be false. And when I say go that way, I'm talking about closing above the DR, right, on the opposite side. Okay. So I'm saying, okay, so either we're going to be false or we're going to, have a retirement setup. So orders put here on IDR high. Okay, stop loss is right above DR. Okay, because if it goes above DR, I already know I'm in trouble, right? So that's about a 3-point stop loss. I'm like, okay, fine, all right, no biggie. So what happens? We get picked up here. Actually, end up coming down here, and that's why I said I made out okay today because this was it was like 4 points. It was actually a 5-point move. Okay, and if you guys notice, this has a bullish fair value gap, which means price wants to go this way. All right. So when I take the order here, or take the trade here, and price starts to come down, gets into that fair value gap, starts to come back up, and it comes back down again. Right. I put my order, again, my take profit was on 5, but I moved my stop loss down to 4 because I wasn't taking any chances. Okay. And so long story short on that one, made it down here. Went down to 5 again, but I didn't get my take profit off of that one. I don't know if it got exactly to 5 or it got to 4.75. A lot of times it has to actually go through the trade for you to get for you to come out of it. So when it came back up, hit at 4, and I was like, yep, I'm good. All right. Then the next thing we see is we go back up here. Now we actually close above the DR on the opposite side, on the high side, and that becomes a false day, right? So now we're false, and I basically said peace, I'm out. All right, because this wasn't a fun day, right? This movement was great, but it wasn't a fun day. And the other thing was, except for right here, there was really no place else that I could see, or that out of things that I use to trigger entries, there was no place along here that I could see where I should be getting in, right? So there was no fair value gap, didn't actually come back into a fair value gap and then take off, except for right here. And actually went below the fair value gap and then started moving back up, right? So that's the only place I could have seen that I would have even thought about, taking a trade there. So that was it. So basically around lunchtime, I was pretty much done with the market for the day. And then, yes, I could have taken another trade here for it to come down, right? Comes to, but again, once it changes and goes to a false day, I don't trust the confirmation at all. So I'm not sure which confirmation to look at, right? So unless I see something else that gives me a trigger, then I would look at it. Now, hindsight, because again, I didn't even look at the market till like after that closed. After this point, I was slightly positive, and I was like, I'm good with that. No need to rush it or mess around with it. If you look here, I know I can't draw this thing, but that fair value gap actually extends all the way over there. So technically, yes, you could have gotten a trade here if you were ignoring the DR signals, right? If you were doing strictly like an ICT trade, yep, definitely could have gotten in there. Right on, on this candle, this green candle, this red candle, you could have gotten in, and then have just taken that long ride back up. That would have been a really nice trade. But again, I wasn't trading ICT that way. That's my secondary. I use ICT as like a secondary entry mechanism or a confluence to my DR, and so you guys can see what happened. Um, and it went looking at using a different like this thing automatically puts the fibs on here, so it went all the way up to like +3 on the fib, right? And that's from the point 0.5 fib, right? So point 0.5, then it goes to 1, then it goes to, point 0.5, 1, and then this is the other point 0.5. Maybe that's not 1. Maybe that's, I don't know what that is. Never mind. Let me not say that, because I think this is just point 0.5. Then point 0.5. Oh, this is 0. Why am I? Oh, that's stupid. I'm dumb. Sorry, guys. Let's see, I wasn't even paying attention, right? So that's 0 basically. Even though it's a point 0.5 fib, that's a 0 of it. And then it starts to move up, and you kind of see, kind of where it actually kind of peters off. So it gets up to about 3, and then it starts to turn back around again. But anyway, that's not true DR stuff. Like I said, my DR trades, cancel themselves out over here. So yeah, I'm probably not the best person to talk about this today because I was really frustrated at by lunchtime, and I said, forget it. So again, I didn't even look at any of this stuff until like market was basically closed. All right. So anyway, yeah, but that's it. That's again, one of those days where but there's a lesson in it, right? So if you're not feeling it, right? If you're not, your mind isn't clear, if you got things on your mind and you're not focused, it's okay to skip that day, right? Like even though I came out, get slightly positive, I wish I would just skip the day because it just didn't feel good. All right. And so, some days you feel great, some days you don't. And if you don't feel great, it's okay to take a day off from trading. All right. It's okay. All right. But anyway, that's it, guys. I'm not going to hold you long. Hopefully this was a little bit helpful. And just remember, like I said, we live to fight or live to trade another day, right? And so you don't have to trade every day if it's not, looking the way you want it to look, or it's not reacting the way you want it to react. Time and price are everything, and in this case, it just didn't work out for me. So anyway, you know what we always say: love on your loved ones. You never know you won't be able to do it again. So take advantage of that opportunity, each and every one of them. And we have PPI tomorrow. We have CPI Wednesday. We have Fed speaker speaking, so it's going to be volatile. The only good news for us is that PPI, CPI come out at 8:30, and we really don't. If you're doing DR trades, you really don't have to do anything until about 10:30, right? So that's the good news. So hopefully at that point the market will digest all the data or the news, and then you can have a decent trading day. So anyway, that's all. Appreciate you guys, and we will do it again tomorrow. Y'all take care.